We want to get a feel for what life was actually like in one specific place.
Okay, intriguing. Which place?
Newark, and particularly how Newark Castle fits into the picture.
Ah, Newark. Right on the trend. Makes sense. It's a fascinating idea, trying to see a place through different eyes from the same period.
Exactly, because a castle, a river crossing, it means very different things depending on who you are, right?
Completely different realities.
Yeah.
So whose eyes are we borrowing today?
Well, we're aiming for 4 quite distinct viewpoints. We'll try to imagine life as a peasant living nearby.
Okay, the base of the pyramid.
Then someone from the growing town itself, the middle class, maybe a merchant or craftsman.
Right, benefiting from the trade routes.
Then we've got the man who actually commissioned the castle, the Bishop of Lincoln.
Ooh, Alexander.
Yeah.
A powerful figure. Built quite a few castles, didn't he?
He did. And finally, King John.
King John. Oh, because he died there, didn't he, at Newark Castle?
Famously, yes. Died within its walls. So you have the founder and, well, a king meeting his end there. It really anchors the location.
It certainly does. 4 very different connections to one place. Where should we start? Peasant life.
Let's start there. Stepping into the muddy boots, perhaps, of someone working the land near Newark back then.
Okay. So for a peasant, existence would be fundamentally about the land and the river, the Trent.
How so? The river and the roads, like the Fossway?
Absolutely vital. The Trent wasn't just water. It was, fish, maybe water for crops, a route for small boats. And the Fossway, even centuries after the Romans, it's still a major route.
So travelers, maybe some trade?
Some local trade, yeah. Bartering, perhaps. Things they couldn't grow or make themselves. But life revolved around agriculture. Planting, harvesting. The seasons dictated everything.
And looming over all this, literally, is the castle. First timber, then stone. What did that mean to them?
Well, it's hard to say for sure. No peasant diaries, obviously. But it would have been this huge symbol of power, the bishop's power, initially.
Right, the authority controlling the land they worked, maybe.
Exactly. Perhaps it offered some work, laboring on the walls, hauling stone when it was rebuilt later.
Possibly. But mostly just there, a reminder of who's in charge.
Yeah, a constant presence. And life would have been tough. Bad weather, illness, the demands of the Lord. Scarcity was probably never far away. We're painting a picture based on, the general conditions in that imposing castle nearby.
Okay, so a life dominated by agriculture, the local geography, and this big symbol of power. Let's shift focus now, up the social scale a bit.
To the town itself.
Yes, Newark town. Imagine someone part of that emerging middle class.
A merchant, a craftsman.
Right. This is a period where towns like Newark are really growing. They're hubs. And Newark's position was key.
The river and the roads again, definitely. The Trent for moving bulkier goods. The Fossway and other routes converging there. It's prime territory for trade. So someone involved in that, their life looks quite different from the peasants.
More agency, more opportunity.
More opportunity, certainly. Maybe not huge wealth for everyone, but potential. And the castle plays a different role for them, too.
How so? Still a symbol of power, surely.
Yes, but also an economic engine, potentially.
Right.
Remember, Bishop Alexander established a mint there?
Oh, right. You mentioned that. Making money.
Literally. That stimulates the local economy. And the castle garrison, the household, they need supplies. Food, tools, cloth, repairs.
So our merchant or craftsman might actually be selling things to the castle.
Precisely. A blacksmith fixing tools, a weaver supplying fabric, a merchant bringing in wine or spices via the river. They'd interact with the castle commercially.
A very different relationship than just laboring under its shadow.
A much more dynamic one, tied into the flow of goods and people that made Newark important. Their prosperity was linked directly to that strategic location, the same location the castle was built to control.
Interesting contrast. Okay, let's make another big jump to the top, well, near the top of the ecclesiastical ladder anyway. Bishop Alexander of Lincoln.
The founder. This takes us back a bit earlier to when he got permission from Henry I, around, 1135?
Roughly, yes. What does it tell us that a bishop could just decide to build a castle?
It tells us bishops were incredibly powerful figures back then. Not just spiritual leaders, but major landowners, political players. Getting royal license wasn't trivial.
And he built others. You said Banbury and Sleaford.
Correct. It shows a pattern, doesn't it? Using castles to stamp his authority, control key points in his vast diocese. Lincoln was huge.
So why Newark specifically? We keep coming back to the geography.
It has to be the geography. Controlling that Trent crossing, sitting on the Fossway, it's militarily and economically strategic. For Alexander, it's about control, defense, projecting power.
A statement piece, almost.
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Even the initial timber version was significant. And later, rebuilding it in stone toward the end of the 12th century, that just reinforces its importance to his successors, too.
So he wouldn't have lived there permanently, presumably.
Oh, no. His seat was Lincoln Cathedral. But he would have visited, overseen its administration. Newark would have been a key node in his network, a place to stay while traveling, an administrative base, a secure location, part of managing his widespread interest.
Right. Power, strategy, administration. A very different view of the castle. Okay, final perspective. King John.
And perhaps the most dramatic link to Newark, his deathbed, October 1216.
The story goes, too many peaches, and cider, wasn't it, leading to dysentery.
That's the traditional account, yeah. A surfeit of peaches. Whether that's the precise medical cause, who knows? But dysentery seems likely, given the conditions of campaigning back then.
It does seem a rather ignoble end for a king. No battlefield glory.
No, just illness in a castle. It's a reminder, isn't it? Even kings are mortal, susceptible to disease. And the sources are a bit fuzzy on exactly where in the castle he died.
I read tradition says the Southwest Tower, but maybe the gatehouse?
The gatehouse apartments seem more plausible, yes. And that gatehouse itself was apparently enormous, the largest in England then. Speaks to Newark's status.
And the drama didn't stop when he died, did it?
Not at all. One of his loyal knights, Robert de Gahy, I think, he seized the castle.
Seized it? From whom?
From the supporters of the new king, John's young son, Henry III. De Gahy held it for about 8 days.
Wow. So even with the king dead inside, the castle itself was immediately contested.
Absolutely. It shows just how vital that strategic position was. Control Newark, you control the Trent crossing, you influence movement along the Fossway and Great North Road. It was a massive strategic prize, right in the middle of a civil war, basically.
So John's death, there wasn't just a personal event, it was tied into the whole power struggle of the time.
Very much so. His reign was turbulent, Magna Carta, the Barons' War, dying at Newark, this key fortress, and the immediate fight for its control, it's all part of that bigger political story.
Okay. So we've looked through 4 pairs of eyes. The peasant, seeing a symbol of power, maybe a source of work.
The merchant or craftsman, seeing economic opportunity mixed with that authority.
Bishop Alexander, seeing a strategic tool, a projection of his own influence.
And King John, for whom it was, well, his final refuge and a contested asset even after his death.
It's quite something, isn't it? How one set of stone walls, one river crossing can mean such radically different things.
A good thought to end on. Every place holds more stories than we usually imagine.